All right. Welcome, everybody. You have reached Running Through the Jungle. We are here with the Bengals Crossover against the Minnesota Vikings. And we have Dave joining us here from Vikings versus Skull. Dave, thank you so much for stopping in. Tell us about your show. I know you and I both do some work with pay as well, so we have that in common.
Unfortunately, yes. No, I'm the executive producer over at Vikings First and Skull, where we talk everything Minnesota Vikings. Now, where pay comes into play is we do an NFC North roundup show on Wednesdays called Who Will Be King? And there's only three of us, three teams that partake in that because why? We don't have a Green Bay Packers representative yet after so many years. The Fans First Sports Network covers every single team in the league, except for we can't find a Green Bay Packers representative that will stick, and we're still looking for one. But we have fun. It's a great time. We talk about hopefully good football, and we lament bad football.
Well, I would say this. I would say over the past couple years, the NFC North and the AFC North probably been the strongest divisions in football. Now, I think the AFC North is going to get a little bit of a test this year. I like the AFC West. I'm not going to lie. I like what the Chargers are doing over there. The Broncos seem improved, and even at 0-2, I don't count the Chiefs out.
Oh, which makes sense. And then I agree with you. It's always been the NFC North and the AFC North. We're the blue-collar divisions. We're the rough and tumble. We punch people in the mouth. We bring lunch pails to work, and we go at it.
For sure.
Now, whether we're going to be that good this year, it was forecasted to be that way, but it doesn't seem to be that way after 2 weeks.
It's early and early with the rookie quarterback, and a rookie quarterback who got hurt. Well, I consider him a rookie quarterback. Injured last year, and now he's out this year. We've got a mash unit matchup here. Both of us got some guys on that questionable list. You have a bunch of them over there in Minnesota. I was looking at that on a little bit of our preview. I'm running through the jungle, and I was like, wow.
We have 11 starters that are somewhere from IR to questionable for this week.
Man, that's rough. That's rough. Well, hey, listen, I want to be a good host here. I want the guests to take the floor. I want you to go first. We got a couple of our regulars over here. Austin's Art. You got to watch out for Austin. Good Bengals fan, but he's also an Eagles fan. We don't trust that sometimes. Tim, one of my hosts over there, he was going to try and join us, but he is working. Somebody's got to do it, right, Nate?
Somebody's got to pay the bills, and it's good to see you again, Tim. And Austin's Art, man after my own heart. You see the paintings behind me? Those are mine. I did them.
Wow.
I very much enjoy the finer things in life, and part of that is artwork.
That's very impressive. Very, very nice. I have no artistic bone in my body.
Well, it's sort of like me in music. I very little. Can't hold a tune for nothing. But for my show, my half, this will be Skulling with Friends. And we're going to be talking with B-Dirt about his Cincinnati Bengals. Now, to start off this season, everybody had this game marked, highlighted, everything ready to go. Joe Burrow versus J.J. McCarthy in an absolute air raid sort of style of game. It's going to be Jamar Chase versus Justin Jefferson. Who of the LSU crowd is going to score more points? Well, it turns out to be a battle of the backups. And that's crazy just to think about it. Which leads me into my first question. With Joe Burrow sidelined, how has Jake Browning's preparations and performance evolved since his last starting gig in 2023? And what specific adjustments might he make against the Vikings' aggressive Brian Flores defense?
I think, first of all, Jake Browning, I like him as a backup. I like him as a player. He prepares very well, getting thrown in and really was able to run our offense last week after being thrown in before halftime. Was pretty impressive, I thought, even though he had some picks. Now, to me, that's the biggest difference. The preparation, they're similar in stature, speed, arm strength. I think Joe Burrow maybe a little more tenacity and is able to read and react a little bit better to what the defense is doing. I think especially with that Flores, blitzing and changing up who's coming and who's dropping in the pass coverage. It's always masked very well with the Brian Flores team, and they're always aggressive. That's what the concern is. I actually named Jake Browning as my number one person that is responsible for the Bengals' success or failure on Sunday, and it's just about the turnovers. He has to read and react. Now, I think you'll probably see some more running plays than we have been, and I think you'll see some more quick screens and so on and so forth, more so than if Joe Burrow was in there. That said, if they continue to do that and don't throw the ball deep at all, you know exactly what Flores is going to do. He's going to bring the house.
He's going to bring the house and make it a rough day for the young Mr. Browning. Now, just to follow up to that, as you know, Jake Browning played for the Minnesota Vikings.
Got a little chip on the shoulder about being cut from you guys. Yeah.
Because he earned the starting job. If you haven't heard this story, he earned the starting job back in the final year, or not the starting job, the QB backup job, QB2 job. In the final year of the Mike Zimmer and Rick Spielman regime.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike Zimmer had called him in the office and said, hey, you're our QB2. You're going to back up Kirk Cousins at the time. And he was like, cool. Well, Mike Zimmer and Rick Spielman weren't talking to each other, or about to start not talking to each other. It happened during the draft. Spielman drafted Kalen Mond, who was a waste of a draft pick, and Spielman made the decision. He cut young Jake Browning against Mike Zimmer's wishes and kept Kellen Mond. And they didn't talk there afterwards, and the whole thing ended up with both of them being fired at the end of the season. But that's my Jake Browning story. And he said at the time, I believe, you cut the wrong person, you're going to regret it. So there is that big chip on his shoulder.
He's got a W against Minnesota already.
Yep, and he's going to want nothing but more W's against Minnesota. And who knows, maybe even this Sunday he gets another one. But we'll see. Now, your red zone efficiency without Joe Burrow could come into question. Could it lead to a low-scoring game?
Yeah, I have it. I actually don't want to reveal my prediction yet, but I have it being close to actually that line. I think was it 42.5?
42.5. I
have it right around there.
Yeah,
I think we're going to see some field goals from both teams, multiple field goals from both teams. I think they may play it safe to the vest a little bit about getting points on the board rather than forcing the issue.
I gotcha. Now, as I hyped before, this was going to be a wide receiver showdown on top of a QB showdown. The QB part isn't happening because both guys are injured, and it'd be Jefferson versus Chase. It's going to be interesting. Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase, obviously top 2 wide receivers in the NFL, period. That's just the way it is. And the talent just oozes from them. I'm curious, do the backups feed, backups being Jake Browning and Carson Wentz for us, feed these alphas enough balls during the game to make it worth it? Because they want to compete just against each other. They want to come up with bigger numbers. Analysts like PFF's Trevor Sikkema says he sees this as a talent explosion waiting to happen. But the question is, will it with the backup quarterbacks?
I think Jacob Browning's a little more of a gunslinger mentality. And I think, Joe Burrow is very cerebral as a quarterback, and he's analyzing where the weakness is. I think Jacob Browning actually more so than Joe Burrow says that's the best guy on the field, I'm throwing it to him. Or this is the matchup I like, I'm throwing it to him regardless. So that's I think we're going to see Jamar Chase get quite a few looks. I think T will get quite a few looks. And, you can look at, like I said, last week, coming in and playing close to 2/3 of the game. Jamar Chase had 14 catches for 165 and a touchdown. I think he had 6 catches right around 6 catches when Burrow left. So, yeah, they're still going to throw him the ball.
Well, I do hope Carson Wentz throws Justin Jefferson the ball as well. We have a sneaky contributor, and what I suspect he'll be aiming for Jalen Naylor, our present wide receiver 2, because Jordan Addison is on suspension. This will be the last game, unfortunately. I think both our teams have the best 1 and 2 wide receivers not just the best ones, but also the best 2s when you consider them a pair in the league.
I actually have Jordan Addison on a couple of my fantasy teams, and I'm not going to be too upset if TJ Hawkinson finds the end zone either. So we'll leave it at that.
TJ Hawkinson has been trending today for the wrong reasons, but we'll skip that. If the game turns into a low-scoring affair, which we both fear, over and under, like you said, is 42.5. How reliable is Evan McPherson in the clutch situations compared to our kicker, Will the Thrill Reichert? And what's the Bengals strategy if they get into kicking range? And what is kicking range for McPherson?
Well, last year was a tough year for McPherson, but he was dealing with a groin injury, which is not something a kicker wants to deal with, obviously. But before that, I mean, he got the moniker Money Mac for a reason. Inside 55, I feel like he's money. But he has to get back to that, right? He's knocking a little rust off. He looked really good in training camp and preseason and all that stuff. But the guy, as far as pressure goes, I don't have anything to worry about with him and how he feels with pressure. I mean, I have above me right back here an autographed picture or photo of the kick he made against Tennessee, where he walked out and said, on his way out, said, "We're going to the AFC Championship, coach," and walked out and nailed it. So the guy's been cold-blooded as far as that goes. So I feel like he's good. I feel like he's back. I feel like we're in good hands, but there still could be some rust. I will say that.
I feel the same about my kicker, Will Reichert, who last year hadn't missed a kick all season long until he popped a muscle in his quad. And
also
then,
not good for a kicker.
no, also not good. And then he missed some after he tried to came back. But he's back this year. He has not missed a kick yet. He tied the longest kick in Soldier Field last week or 2 weekends ago at 59 yards. So it may come down to a battle of the kickers, and it's going to be very, very interesting and heart-thumping for at least my fans, because we all had the nightmares of wide left so many times. So it's going to be curious. Now, overall, what's the one underrated Bengals player or the unit that the Vikings fans should watch out for? Our guys we don't see each other, every year. So who is it on the team that could sneak up on the purple and make a difference and stand out and could swing this match in Cincinnati's favor?
It's not going to be the offensive line. I will say, I want to say it's Chase Brown, because if it is Chase Brown, that means we have a good chance to win. We need to run the ball more effectively, and he's really good at catching passes out of the backfield. But I got to be honest with you, where I think we've been better than I expected and something that could sneak up, because Mike Gesicki hasn't quite broken out of his shell for a game yet. Noah Fant's been really solid for us, plays that inside out on tight end. He can block. He can go into the slot. Mike Gesicki can basically be a fourth wide receiver if you need be. He's not really blocking other than chipping. But I'd say tight end. I like our tight ends. I like what they're doing there. And listen, if you need to get the ball out quick, closer to the line of scrimmage is easier sometimes. So I think I'll go with tight ends.
Okay. Makes sense. We'll watch for it on Sunday. See how it turns out.
Yeah, I'll root for it to be Chase Brown.
Well, my fans, I hope you enjoyed these questions and have learned a little bit more about the Cincinnati Bengals. And Peter, isn't it time for a break?
Yes, sir. We appreciate you guys rocking with us. Thumbs up, hit that like, that subscribe. Whether you're listening to Dave's podcast or our Run Through Jungle, it does not matter. Vikings First and Skull, hit that thumbs up. And by the way, if you like NFL football, you like good people, go over there, give them a thumbs up too. We appreciate you guys rocking with us. We'll be right back after these messages. All right, welcome back. So we did the what'd you call it? The Vikings?
It's sculling with friends.
Sculling
we
with
don't
friends.
have enemies on this show. We have friends, or soon to be friends. And
Yeah.
Peter, we consider you one of them.
So we did the Bengals crossover this year because let's call it the way it is, because Tim didn't want to call it Strange Love anymore. Because I called it Strange Love last year. I show love to I love the game of football. You can't play football with one team on the field. That's called a scrimmage, and it's never as good as the real thing. So I've never been one of those guys that, even with our rivals, I don't get too over the top. I mean, I'm on every week on the Steel Curtain Network. I live in Pittsburgh, and I'm a Cincinnati Bengals fan. I grew up in Ohio, a Michigan fan. Like, there's a lot going on, right? A lot of moving pieces. So I'm good.
Like you were born a rebel.
A little bit, a little black sheep for sure. Well, listen, Dave, what I really want to know for you in the Vikings offense, I know that you've had some injuries to offensive line. You've referenced the Addison suspension. You just had the running back go on injured reserve. Aaron Jones. I had to put him on IR in 2 of my leagues too. So with all that going on, where do you see advantages for this offense against our defense that you think you can take advantage of?
Well,
opportunities.
I'm sitting here lamenting with a friend just a minute ago that LT to OC equals 2. And what that means is our left tackle, our left guard, and our offensive center only has 2 starts among them. And that's to our rookie left guard, Donovan Jackson, out of the Ohio State, by the way. It's now, how can we defeat you guys? Where's the advantage? Well, we have Jordan Mason as our running back, and Jordan Mason was 1B to 1A of Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones was more for pass catching, even though they both can do it exceptionally well. But Jordan Mason is the big bruiser back. He's now going to get, obviously, the majority of the workload come Sunday. He can bang some heads. So if our offensive line gets some push, which hopefully they can in the run game, it's going to be difficult, and especially in the red zone, because that's where he excels. When it comes to the pass, we have Carson Wentz with his first ever start for Minnesota. He's coming home. He grew up in Fargo, North Dakota. He grew up a Minnesota Vikings fan. And then I think it's his 6th team in 6 years that he's going to start for. But it's his home team. So he's all excited and pumped up. He can throw the ball deep. And we have a couple receivers that, not including Jordan Addison, who's not going to be there for stupid decisions when you're young. But we have obviously Justin Jefferson, which we talked about, and we have Jalen Nailor. Jalen Nailor, who's going into his final year of his rookie contract, has always been our deep guy. He's our speed guy. He goes out there and does aerobics or calisthenics, every game. He's the one that's blasting, taking the top off the defense so that Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, or now Adam Thielen, can get open, or TJ Hawkinson for that matter. Well, it turns out after 2 weeks, Jalen Nailor is number 1 in speed for route run and also for separation. Now, he's been running mostly rail routes, wide nine, stuff like that, where he's just going. But he's wide open. Well, insert Carson Wentz, who likes to throw a deep ball and can throw a deep ball. And I think that's where we could beat you and heat this game up, is over the top. If it works, great. Then that'll open up Justin Jefferson, and that'll open up every intermediate route in between. And then once we get in close, we'll smash Matthew with Jordan Mason.
All right. Is Cam Akers, I saw you re-signed him. Is he going to be active for this game?
He will be active. He'll be active as the RB3, I believe.
Yep. Yeah, he could. I mean, that's a good pickup for you guys. It's hard to simulate yourself, obviously, in 1 week. Even then, coming back to a team, it's just getting back up to NFL speed, right? As far as that pass catching and that lightning to your thunder, that's a pretty good person to pick off the street.
And it's his, third year back with the team?
Yeah.
We keep letting him go, and he goes sign someplace else, and we've traded for him twice, and this year we didn't trade for him. We just signed him off the couch, and he's back.
All right. Same thing on the defensive side of the ball for the Minnesota Vikings. Where do you have concerns against the Bengals, and where do you see opportunities? And tell us which part of our offensive line do you think the opportunity is?
Well, on the defense, our believe it or not, our secondary has been doing rather well, even with guys out. We get everybody back. Jeff Okuda is recovering from a concussion. He'll be back. He's our cornerback 3. We have Brian Murphy as our CB1. He plays the one side, and then when we go to nickel, he moves inside, and then Okuda comes on. We have Isaiah Rogers on the other side. They've been doing fine. It looks like Harrison Hitman Smith will be active on Sunday, and he causes all sorts of problems for opposing quarterbacks, especially ones that have not played him much in the past. I think he's going to be the key to this game when he comes in. Now, where we're hurting on defense is that we lost Blake Cashman a couple weeks ago, and he's gone on IR, one of those 11 starters. And last year when we lost Blake Cashman for 3 games, we lost 2 of those. He's a key at our middle linebacker. Absolutely key. Can we overcome that this week? I hope so. We have Eric Wilson, who's back with the team after a stint with the Green Bay Packers. Much that I despise that team. But he's back and he's doing fine. Did last week as well. Now, how we're going to get after you guys, though, is because we've signed Javon Hargrave and Jonathan Allen. We get push up the middle when it comes to pass rush, on top of our normal edge rushers being Jonathan Grenard, Andrew Van Ginkel, who hopefully will have cleared protocol by then, and Dallas Turner is our 3rd edge rusher. It's going to be a nightmare day for Jake Browning, in my opinion. That's how we defeat you guys.
Yeah, that's my biggest concern is us handling the pass rush up the middle. We've had problems right guard. We've had problems at left guard. We've had so-so play at center. Karras has been solid, but not great. So that up the middle is where I'm really concerned. Now, Mims didn't have a very good game last week either at right tackle. So it's been a little bit shaky off the start. Now, it's one of those things we talked about too. A run through the jungle. You know, we knew we had issues in the offseason at guard. We knew we had to address this stuff. And, you know, signing the guys that we signed late, right? I'm not opposed to. But when you bring, you know, draft Dylan Fairchild, you bring Dalton Reisner off the street, who you know well.
Yes.
When you do that, I mean, there's no continuity, and a lot of, I think people take for granted how much communication and continuity there has to be on an offensive line when they're passing off stunts, when they're helping blockers and rotating left or right. Like, that's where I think we have just seen confusion. You know, I think everybody now has seen the stunt where Myles Garrett almost, you put Joe Burrow in the morgue. Like there's just been some whiffs, just some absolute whiffs. So I feel like we've got better athletes and better players there, but because our front office didn't get them at the beginning of mini camps, training camps, all that stuff, they haven't gotten any reps or time together. So they're learning on the fly. So I think where we're at in week 3, week 9 is going to be totally different. If they stay healthy, I think they'll get better as the year goes on. I just don't like that we put ourselves in that situation, and I don't like the way it matches up against your team.
No, it doesn't, and that's a shame. I sort of feel the same about my offensive line, but
yeah, I think our biggest advantage too, and I said Trey Hendrickson is my pick at our defensive player of the game prediction, because I watched what he did last year. Like his 17 and a half sacks were in bunches. 3 against the Raiders, 2 here, 2.5 there. It's when he had somebody that was outmatched, he did not let off the gas pedal whatsoever.
Which, since we're sort of off topic, which side is he lining up on?
He'll line up over your left tackle.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And not
Which
sometimes or not anytime. That's been one of the things that that's one of the things we've complained about actually as Bengal fans. Like we see everybody else moving around and every once in a while going to a different position. That man goes one place and does one thing over and over again. He does it really well, but he's going to be in one spot doing one thing. So
he'll be going against Walter Rouse, who's
who?
a second-year tackle, and he's backup for Brian O'Neill on the right side, second or third year. Young kid that came from Oklahoma. He's a good kid, but he's just not. He doesn't have quite the speed to be a NFL tackle. You want your tackles to be fast and be able to move versus your guards. Your guards working inside telephone booths for space. You want your tackles to be able to move outside and deal with speed. We'll see how he does.
All right. Tim's saying he got a sack on the right side. I don't think he did. I watched the game, but to be continued.
Then he's going against Brian O'Neill. So.
Which I don't think he did. I watched the game. He was lined up on his right side, your left tackle.
Mm-hmm.
So that's his normal spot. I don't know if lost the translation, I think. All right, so I'm really that's about all we do as far as getting this stuff in. We normally talk about just where concerns or opportunities are. If you have anything else for me, I'm happy to answer it, and then we'll get into making some predictions for the game.
Well, I think we both are lamenting our status of our offensive lines, which does not do well for either team for production wise. Hopefully my team overcomes that, but we'll see. I think it's going to be a low scoring game.
There's a lot that we can see. Listen, there's no doubt there's a lot of talent on the field, but there's also a lot of question marks on the field for this game on both sides for us and you. So it'll be interesting. That's the reason why I'm making the prediction, because I need to. That's part of the gig, but I'm not putting any harder money on this because I don't know what's going to happen. So listen, guess first.
All right.
You give me your prediction for the game.
CBS it's their number one game at noon on Sunday, and it's Jim Nantz and crew, Tony Romo, etc. Who's calling the game? This is a fun fact for you guys. Anytime Jim Nantz has called a Vikings game, which has been 7 times now, the Vikings have lost.
That's a crazy stat, Dave.
I know. It has nothing to do with the play on the football field, but it's just one of those weird deals.
The cosmos.
But we've lost. So I'm thinking we're talking 42.5 points. I'm thinking maybe we're looking at, a whole bunch of field goals. Maybe 21-17. I'd be happy with that if the Vikings scored it out with that sort of win. They're favored by 3. It's home field advantage. I guarantee our crowd's going to be loud, at least to start.
For sure.
They were last week. They caused all sorts of problems in the beginning until the play sort of dictated, and they'd rather go get some more beer.
Yeah. I mean, it's Minnesota.
Mm-hmm. But I say 21-17, low scoring game.
I have the score very similar. I could not, in good conscience, pick against the Bengals in this game because I'm pretty confident we're going to lose the next 3 after this one. So I feel like we really need it, Dave. So I did have the Bengals squeaking a field goal win out 23-20. So in that same ballpark.
Okay. I got you.
But yeah, man, that does it for me. Dave, again, if you want to tell everybody where they can find you, what you got going on, I appreciate you coming on, my friend. It's been a lot of fun.
Well, like I said, I'm from Vikings First and Skull, or FFSN's Vikings representative. We do probably about 6 or 7 shows a week. They vary from the Real Forno show with Tyler Fornes, our local beat writer. He's going to be on after this. We go live at 10 minutes after the top of the hour on Thursday. Right before this, we did X's and Skulls with Luke Braun of Locked On Vikings, where they break down the plays. He and Tyler do. We have 2 old bloggers on Saturday, which are myself and Darren Campbell, who have been blogging about the Minnesota Vikings publicly for well over 2.5 decades apiece, since the internet was basically new and we could do this stuff. And then we have a few more shows, the post game, stuff like that. But it's always fun to talk Minnesota Vikings over on Vikings First and Skull. Catch us on YouTube, catch us on your favorite podcast aggregator. Heck, you can catch us just about anywhere. Just type in Vikings First and Skull.
Same with Running Through the Jungle, man. We are all over the place. Fans First Sports Network does a great job making sure we get out and about, out in the crowd, wherever you get your podcasts. Like I said, if you haven't yet, hit that thumbs up, hit that like, hit that subscribe. If you're on one of our channels, go to the other one and give us a rate and review. We appreciate you guys for sure. And Dave, I really appreciate you coming on the show. And I'm telling you, I don't think you know, I wanted to put it up in the background, but I haven't been able to. Been traveling too much. I got married this year. A lot going on personally.
Congrats.
Thank you. But I haven't been able to redo the office yet. But I have a giant framed JJ McCarthy autographed jersey. He's one of my favorites. I got his autograph cards over here. Great kid, and I hope he bounces back from this injury and plays the way. I think you got a good one. I know he's had 7 bad quarters and one historic one. But he is young and learning whatever. But I think you got a good one, man. So you'll probably see me over there once he comes back.
Well, we hope he's going to be the first true franchise quarterback since Fran Tarkington.
Yeah. I'll be rooting for him as long as you're not playing us.
Cool.
And with that said, enjoy the show, enjoy the game. And good luck to you, but not too much luck. And again, thanks for popping in. That's all for us tonight. And we'll see you next time.
Skol Vikings.
Hooray.